It's hot out there.
It's hot in there.
Yeah, it's hot in here. It's hot out there. Hey, you know what? It's hot everywhere, but you were in a cool place on Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon at PNC Park, one of the coolest places to be in the state of PA, and I would also say in the country.
It was actually Sunday. I was there.
Man,
I was in the Berg Saturday night, but I was at the game on Sunday, and I'm in my basement. You're in your attic, so
Yeah.
it's like I don't know.
It's
One's
night
like
day.
the North Pole, one's the South Pole. I don't know. They're both cold, aren't they? Anyway,
Yeah.
let's talk about our topic today. We're going to talk about a little bit about our Buccos and their mentality, and also the other two teams, maybe even the college teams. We'll even analyze the college teams and their mentality,
There you
and
go.
why I feel like the Buccos have their own mentality amongst all those teams. And what I mean by that is they're the only ones that I don't have any kind of confidence that can break out of a losing mentality. So that's going to be our main topic. I'll throw it to you in a second, but let's start with the game 2 days ago in which usually Paul Skenes picks up that baseball, goes out to the mound, and gives us a performance that we say, the other team had no idea what was coming. We only lost because they made a couple of errors behind him, or we just didn't score, or something like that. I'm a little bit worried because a couple days ago, I didn't get that impression of Paul Skenes for the first time in his career. And not saying he got hit around, or not saying that he gave up a bunch of dingers or a bunch of gap doubles or anything, because he didn't. I mean, the exit velocity of the top batted ball against him a couple of days ago was probably like 85 miles an hour or something. It's just that he walked two leadoff hitters. And I know he's still learning the pitch a little bit, and he's trying to hit the corners, and sometimes he gets hosed on calls, but that's an absolute no-no. And, he knows that. So is the Bucco mentality creeping into Skenes, or is Skenes regressing back to the Bucco mentality?
Ooh.
Because I'm worried about it, buddy. I'm kind of worried about it.
I'm going to say you shouldn't be worried about it. I think Skenes will pull through. I think he may have lost a little bit of focus on that outing. But, I'm not going to disagree with you either, because it's all about culture. And when was the last time you had somebody that was vocal and created a culture? And name that pitcher. You can tell me who that pitcher is. Go ahead and do it.
A.J. Burnett.
Thank you. Him and Martin. What a battery. But, there hasn't been that in a long time. But it's also, that does stem, and I can't remember, E-Man, who the GM was back then either when we made those. Was that the red-headed dude? Was that Huntington?
You talking about A.J. Burnett?
Yeah, when they got him back in the 3 years before we had the playoffs.
Well, I'd have to look it up for sure, because that was sort of the, that was after Littlefield.
Yeah, it might have been
And
Huntington.
Neil Huntington was coming in. I don't know. We'll have to Google that one, but it really didn't matter who the GM was. I guess it's irrelevant because he picked him up. He signed him. Yeah.
He put some players on the field, and it starts with culture. We had this conversation earlier. What's it like to go to a ballpark when there's only, and you were there on Sunday, when there's only 10,000 people there, when there's only 6,000 people there, or when there's 12,000 people and 4,000 are chanting, sell the team, sell the team. So it is the mindset. It sucks for them. You shouldn't have to play in a situation like that. And, as fans, you bought the ticket, you have the right to speak, but at the same time, man, it is your team. It's your team that you're rooting for. It's your players, and I know that you're upset with Nutting, and you're upset with Sherrington, and you're upset at that time with not Kelly, but I've lost his name already. Shelton, thank you. Because you're wondering, what are you doing? Why are we doing these things? But it does start with them, and then, of course, how do they build it? How do you get people excited for it? I mean, when are we ever going to get excited again about Ron Hayes? When he's traded? Seriously, I can't get excited about the guy. I just can't. He's, and even Brian Reynolds. We both liked Brian Reynolds about 3 years ago. We thought Brian was going to be, that left fielder for us, and now it's just like he might be the one that's got the blues, the Pittsburgh Blues, and because he's just, and I'm worried that people are going to think Tommy Pham is like resurrected now. What's he got, like 5 hits and 10 at bats now? He's batting .500 in the last 2 games. I mean, that guy's brutal, but I don't know how Kelly gets him up. And I do, like I said, that game that you went to, why was Frazier in left field? Why do you do that to a pitcher? I don't get it. Keller is a good pitcher. Keller is a solid 3. He is a good pitcher. Yes, he makes sometimes way too many mistakes, but he doesn't deserve, 1.5 to 2 runs per outing. He's not bad. It's just that you put the wrong lineup. At this point, why are we even shifting lineups? You put the 9 guys in, and you frickin' take them into the ground. If they need to come off the field after the 15th game because they're injured, then take them off. But why are we giving people rests? Why? For what reason? We're not in a playoff hunt. Why are we giving anybody off? And why are we putting people in the wrong positions?
Yeah, I agree with you on the Frazier and left field thing. That was just silly. But, yeah, I was actually at the game on Sunday. We scored 8 runs, 15 hits. The last 3 games I've been to, we've won decisively. Once against the Yankees, and I was at the game where Sawinski hit 3 home runs. So I'm definitely a good luck charm.
You are.
Get over there more often.
Tickets.
But yeah, Saturday's game was a debacle. Yeah, I just don't want that mentality to creep into young stud players that we have. Now, we all understand why Henry Davis is struggling. It's just all mental. He wants it so bad that he just can't get over the hump mentally, because we know he can hit. We know it's in there. And it's the same for some of the other prospects. Sawinski, Ji-Hwan Bae, some other guys that have come up and shown things for short periods of time, but then they just kind of like, the mentality just permeates them and brings them down. And I just don't want it to happen to Skenes, man. It's going to kill me if it happens. So I don't think it will. But, we joked about him being the pitching coach before the season. We joked about him being the guy to lead it out of here, because Kutch can't do it because, the guys respect him and love him, but he's 37 years old, and they're never going to fully, get behind him. And he's not, believe it or not, he's not really that vocal. He likes to lead by example. And Reynolds is not going to do it, and we don't have another veteran player. You had these guys that signed the long-term contracts, like Reynolds, Ke'Bryan Hayes, Mitch Keller, and those guys, none of them has that personality to take the team on their shoulders. But Skenes does, and we have him for another 4 years. And outside of them going out and getting a big bat this offseason, to help him, and us get lucky that bat actually catches fire and hits 40 home runs, nothing's going to make this team rise, more than them starting to believe they can win every day. And they just don't have that. And the other teams, the other pro teams in town, don't have that mentality. The Steelers have had crappy, spans, like Bubby Brister and Malone, Stout, Pickett.
David Woodley.
Pick on you, Pitt guys. But, you always believe like the Steelers are going to break out of it because, they draft well, typically, and they develop pretty well. We have our opinions about Tomlin and how he develops, but the Steelers as an organization, since we were kids, have done those things at an elite level, okay? And the Penguins, were crappy in the 70s and early 80s, when we were kids, but ever since then, you knew that they were going to break out of any mini slump that they had. I feel like they're going to break out of this one. Probably not this year, until they can get the old man hockey and old man hockey 2 to retire. But you feel like they're going to break out of it. I've never had that feeling with the Pirates since Nutting took over. And some of it has to do with economics, but most of it has to do with the fact that there's a losing mentality. And this goes way back to just after the '79 World Series, to the whole, drug scandal and beyond. So I just wanted to talk about that for a second, because if it seeped into Skenes' mentality, we're done, dude. We're done. Make it a AAA team.
Oh, the AAA team is actually playing better than our Major League team. But I would say to you on this that the last time we had really good culture, and it's not a losing culture, was Leland was the manager. When the late 80s came, even though we weren't that good, he brought the team together with Bonds and Benelia. And then you had Van Slyke, and then, of course, until, probably 93, 94, he left. Since then, I think we've been searching for some type of leadership that just has not come. And is that by choice of the general managers not picking the right manager, not being able to find it? Do we continue to put the wrong baseball operations people in charge? And why do we do it? Who's making those decisions? And, that comes down with the start of it. Again, you're right. It's the money's the money. We're all, as fans, going to have to deal with it, like it or not. But where is that development that's coming within the organization? There might be some bad draft. Was Henry Davis the number one pick? I mean, probably not, but I will go back to you over and over and over again. If you don't have the right people in place for development, you'll never know. You guys, everybody out there will continue to say Pickett was a problem. Who was Pickett's offensive coordinator?
Matt Canada.
I mean, you gave him a shit guy to work under. I mean, if you would have put him under LaFleur or you would have put him under McVay, how do you know he wouldn't have been better? And this is what I get to all the time when it comes to especially coaching in college. I mean, you're wasting people's lives. Unless you're getting paid $20 million a year, it doesn't matter. But
we might find out this year about Pickett. He might start for the Browns.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out. Of course, it's the Browns, so
there's another one.
I don't know if Pickett, anybody could take that organization and play winning football, except for Bernie Kosar, maybe. Joey Butterflacco over it? Yeah, he did
Butterflacco. Butterflacco.
Anyway, yeah, that just gave me the creepy crawlies, man, the other day when Skenes is walking guys, and there was a ground ball back to the mound, and he didn't go home with it. There was a ground ball to Nicky Barrels, the Viper, at second base. He did go home with it when he shouldn't have gone home with it. There was a bloop to Cruz in center, and this guy has got elite speed. I mean, he might be the fastest human playing baseball on the earth, other than maybe Ellie De La Cruz. And he comes in and the ball lands. It would have been a tough play, but if any one of those three things happens, Skenes probably doesn't even give up a run that inning. That's all up here. And you can say it's a one-off and there's 162 games, but we all know that the Suckos do that just about every night, man. And it's always a different person. This drives me insane. And I think Clint Hurdle did a good job. I mean, I got really pissed towards the end of his tenure because of some of the things he did with the pitching staff, but I think Clint Hurdle was a good manager. Outside of that, you're right. We didn't have anybody. And I liked Lloyd McClendon, but, and I loved his mentality. Lloyd was a winner.
He's a bulldog.
He just didn't have any, material to work with.
Wow,
Anyway.
He and Jason Kendall. I was watching TikTok earlier, and they were showing one where Kendall almost beat out a play to first. And Lloyd came out yelling and screaming, threw his hat down. I think that might have been one where he picked up the base and he walked
Yeah.
out because he got ejected. And I'm like, all right, that's, kind of funny when you look back at it now. But the ones that I really like is like when they do the amazing catches by Andy Van Slyke. When a dude is running and lays out on turf, cement turf at that Three River Stadium, and making just catches. And then you have this gazelle in center field, O'Neill, that is probably 2 times faster and probably athletic ability-wise, but doesn't have the heart that a Van Slyke had. And that's, I mean, that's what we all miss.
Andy was so great because he knew how to position himself. You know, when there was a ball hit and it was let's just call it a gapper, you know, like not something that you could camp under and position yourself to try to throw somebody out. You know, Ramon Liriano is kind of like this. There's other outfielders that are in the game today. Liriano was a guy we could have picked up, by the way. But we could go over a long list of guys we could have picked up other than Pham this year. But anyway, an outfielder, you know, if a ball is hit and it's a can of corn, you know how you kind of like, you position yourself so you can be running forward when you catch it, and then it's just one motion on your throw, right? Have you ever seen O'Neill Cruz do that? And I know he just moved to the outfield, so we should be giving him a break. This is developmental. But, you know, have you ever seen him do that? He always catches it, takes 2.5 steps, and then throws it. And, you know, we're halfway through the season now. So he's actually done a lot of things to get better out there. I don't want to destroy the guy too bad because I thought he would have like 12, 14, 15 errors at this point, and he only has 8. So, you know, he's done some things to become an outfielder, and I'll give him credit for that. And he's leading the league in stolen bases, or at least he was a few days ago. I'll give him credit for that. But he still doesn't know or hasn't cared to study the little things when it comes to positioning. Andy Van Slyke, I mean, granted, he was older when we got him than O'Neill Cruz is now, and he played outfield most of his professional career before that. But he's a ball player. Is O'Neill Cruz a baseball player? He's not. I'll answer it for you, buddy. He's not a baseball player. You got to draft and develop baseball players and not guys that should be playing in the NBA or something, or freaking highlight or cricket. You know, it's they can't trade him. They can't trade keep Brian Hayes because no one's going to take that contract. They can't trade O'Neill Cruz. I mean, I guess they could trade him for a sack of balls, but they can't trade him for anything right now. So these guys are all untradeable, except for the pitchers. You know, Skenes and Bubba. If they trade Bubba, to try to get a bat.
Bubba's struggling in AAA right now. They're not trading Bubba.
Yeah, but
they're not trading Bubba.
He's the real deal, though, buddy.
I know he's real deal. That's why we still don't understand why Sherrington is there. We don't understand why. I mean, in all sense, everybody keeps saying this is it. He's done. He's done. He's done. He's still there. The June draft, if it is a June draft, and it's the 26th of June with 4 more days to go, why is he even picking? Why is he even around for the trade deadline? Is another factor. And then from there, where's the hitting coach if these guys can't hit? You're talking about a guy who plays center field, and yes, you're right. He played shortstop probably most of his life and transitioned. Now, he transitioned last year in September. He had a whole off season to work on the outfield, and you had spring training. So who in the Pirates staff is working with the outfielders and not teaching him some of these fundamentals? And, you get to a point where at this point you have to play the people who can play the fundamentals, the people who care, the people who are going to hustle. They may not have the same talent, but that's what I think Pirates fans appreciate the most, is that you're giving the effort. And that's what they're looking for, especially if we know that we're not going to get anybody worth any diddly because they're not going to spend money. So, I really, yes, I can blame players, you and I can blame players, but a lot of it right now to me is management and coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nutting and Travis Williams and other baseball people for the Pirates see Connor Griffin and they say to Ben, maybe in the office, we hit on that. We're going to hit on that. Nicky Gonzalez is starting to pop. Bubba's starting to pop. We hit on these guys. It just hasn't happened yet, But you can't make as many mistakes as they've made, in 6 years, and keep your job, really, if you had a winning mentality. And we just don't have it. I guess it does start all the way from the top, and nutting.
You had mentioned Travis Williams. The Penguins let him go. The Penguins let him go, and he went to the Pirates. So there you got to say, well, if the Penguins let him go, I'm pretty sure it's with the Penguins, then why are the Pirates picking him up?
Yeah, well, he's a Pittsburgher, and he's been part of a winning culture, but he's obviously not in charge of Charrington. He should be. He's above him, right? But he's obviously not, or he doesn't want to win either. I mean, anyway, that will drive us endlessly insane. But here's hoping that it hasn't seeped into Skenes' mentality, and the next time he goes out there, he'll pitch 7 1/3 and, shove the ball up the other team's ass. So
there you go.
We'll see.
Is he going up against the Mets? Is he coming up this weekend?
Maybe the third game.
So against the Mets, because they're off tonight, Thursday. And I think they pick up with the Mets on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on whether they want to give. He probably will, because they got the extra day's rest today. So we'll see. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to cover off on that for this week's Hillbilly Yinzer. And we'll come up with another topic for the next time, and hopefully keep it rolling. We're going to be doing a separate little segment on our prize pack. That's the other thing I wanted to mention to you, buddy, is that on my way to the game last weekend, I drove right past Crawford's.
There you go.
Black and gold. That's a really cool building.
Yeah, you should see the inside. I met with John a couple times, and I was inside. I'm telling you, the dude's got merchandise all throughout that building. A lot of it is, the Pittsburgh gear. But if you're not a Pirates, Pens, or a Steelers fan, he's got other NFL and MLB and college merchandise in there. I saw, it was in the back one time when he took me back. It was a nice photo of Tua in Miami. Nice action photo, and it had a signature. And my brother-in-law's a big Miami Dolphin fan. I was thinking about it, but I didn't do it. I didn't pull the trigger. But he's just got a lot of nice gear. He's got a lot of nice stuff. And if anybody doesn't know anything about Crawford's, they need to go online. They need to check him out online. Or if you're in Breezewood or driving by Breezewood on the Turnpike or taking, 70 south to Hancock, Maryland, you got to go there and stop in. It's a cool place. It really is.
It's like a really awesome building from the outside, and then on the inside it's got all kinds of cool Pittsburgh stuff, and our prize pack that he has so graciously allowed us to give away to build this thing is pretty cool, because you got the TJ Watt jersey, and you got the flag,
you got the rally cap, you got the cap,
the tumbler.
You're gonna pull up that image again, but the big winner is TJ Watt. Now, it's not a sign, but still, that is a TJ Watt jersey. And we don't even know if TJ is going to re-sign with us. So that will be a great keepsake.
This could be the last TJ Watt jersey ever given away on social media, man.
Yeah.
That's quite a catch.
We may have to go to Latrobe and get it signed. I had to think about that real quick. You drive out there and have a Hillbilly Yinzer right there in Latrobe.
Let's do it. But yeah, hopefully people will register for that via email at podcast@hillbillyinzer.com or like one of our social media platforms. So that was really nice of him to do that. So hopefully we'll get some people to sign up for it and give that away and continue to talk Pittsburgh sports. And then, of course, we've got the Backyard Brawl coming up in the fall, which we're going to cover off on a lot. And we got the Penguin season coming up.
Who's the West Virginia coach again?
Rich Rodriguez.
Oh, Rich Rodriguez.
Coach Rod. That game's going to be awesome, man. It's going to be the greatest brawl ever.
It's
it might not even be a great football game, but the weeks leading up to it and the day of the game, it's probably going to be the best ever. So we have that to look forward to.
That's what, end of September?
It's September 13th, 9/13.
Oh, it's not the end of September. What is that, the third game or second game of the year?
It's the third for WVU. It's either the second or third for Pitt.
Wow.
I don't know.
And it's in West Virginia? Yes, it's in West Virginia.
Yes, it
this year.
is.
So it will get up.
I'll be there to cover it exclusively for HillbillYinzer.com.
There you go. I'm loving it.
You can come down and tailgate. I don't know if I can get you in the game, though.
I was going to say, just tailgate. I want to go in and see the game.
I think Dews would have to get you into the game.
Yeah, Dews and I probably aren't on the same level. You know,
He's your boy.
Dews is not my boy. Dews needs to prove that he's a coach, a head coach. You know, and yes, we can talk about the fact that he won the Atlantic Coast once and then has flubbed. That's another topic too for another hillbilly conversation.
Yeah, the weeks leading up to that game, we're going to have some fun conversations about, everything that surrounds that game. That game's special, man. You got to admit it.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Well, I guess we'll talk to you guys next week. And thanks for tuning in to Hillbilly Yinzer, the podcast for the 412, the 304, and the entire planet Earth of people that follow these teams.
Hey, don't forget 724.
724, right?
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, man.
That's all right. I keep forgetting about the 724. It just doesn't have a ring to it. I'll always just call it the 412, but we don't want to leave anybody out, though. If you're a 724, you can watch.
Yeah. Yeah, you could be a 314. You could be a 414. You could be a 502. It doesn't matter to us.
That's true, man.
Yeah. Anytime, anywhere you want to listen to us talk, and eventually once we get this a little more smoothed out, we'll hopefully have some different individuals pop in and out.
Yeah.
We'll be able to take some questions, and we'll have a good time moving forward. Right now, we're just kind of working our way through all the nuts and bolts, trying to make sure that we're on the up and up talking. I probably need to dress up a little bit better, so I apologize, but it's just been too hot.
I love Star Wars, man. I'm a fan.
There you go. There you go.
All right, buddy. Well, I'll catch up with you next week, and thanks for tuning in. Go cool off.
You got it. Have a great night.
All right. Later on.
Bye.